From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode,
the role of HR in a small business plan, the economic impact of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and a clothing company that says we don't run from adversity.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
First, getting started with the role of HR in a small business plan. Kristen Lampkin has worked in human resources for more than a decade, recruiting top talent and assisting hiring managers. She shares wisdom about spotting standout resumes and strong LinkedIn profiles.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
Business Equity for Indy is a joint venture between Central Indiana Corporate Partnership, Indy Chamber, with collaboration with the Indianapolis Urban League. And our focus is to really build an inclusive business climate, focusing on equity and economic opportunities for Black residents and people of color. It's really important because it's really helping them think through three areas that are going to be essential for them to be successful, which is people, procurement, and policy. And we have found that organizations, whether they're small, large, or mid-sized, being part of this has been really instrumental in helping them really move the needle in attracting, retaining talent, and also being very intentional with trying to reach Black residents here in Central Indiana. We have some wonderful resources that will really allow them to take action and make sure they're making the commitment, because that's the biggest challenge for a lot of talent, those that are seeking talent, those that are trying to grow their business, is really having actionable things that they can do. And so we provide best practices, we provide resources, we amplify things that are already out there, because often with small businesses, they're a team of one. So they don't have the ability to do a lot of things that a lot of large organizations are able to do. So we provide them with resources and partners like Employee Indy, the SIN Network, and allow them to learn about how they can help them on their journey of finding top talent, being intentional with trying to support Black businesses, and looking at policies that impact the Black community and people of color. Any company that's in Central Indiana in the 9 regions, whether they're small, mid-size, or large-size, and it's for free membership. But what they're doing is committing to action when it comes to equity and economic opportunities for Black residents and people of color. And so that's one of the things I'm always trying to share with anyone that I can talk with, because it's really allowing you to have resources to really allow your business to make impact, showing this internally as well as externally to the community that you are driving equity and business opportunities when it comes to economic opportunities. There's so many resources that are out there that people aren't aware of, like the Good Wage Initiative through Employee Indy and the SIN Network. That's a great opportunity for organizations to be sure that they are being financially, making sure they're aware of the financial opportunities to grow their employees. Not only that, but as an organization, we all can learn. And there's things changing every day when it comes to talent, procurement, and policy. And so having this as a resource to allow you to understand what is available and not recreating the wheel, and utilize resources to help you get the job done of attracting and retaining talent, looking at procurement and making sure that you're being intentional with your efforts from a supplier diversity standpoint, and looking at policies, if you're able to do that within your organization, that you can advocate that are impacting your employees. When we look at organizations over time that have really focused on driving diversity, equity, and inclusion, those companies are seeing more ROI. They're having talent really stay and retaining that talent that are willing to do the work to get the job done and grow their business. It's best for business, not just, like you said, the right thing to do. So one of the areas that I oversee is the people pillar. And with the people pillar, we're really focusing on helping organizations grow their Black and brown employees. And really our focus is on Black employees right now. And so we recently have had 4 different events, which are called People Community of Practice. And we focused on, the first event was focused on modern apprenticeship. So one of the biggest challenges I hear across the board, whether you're small, large, or mid-sized company, that there's a shortage of talent. So we have to think of non-traditional ways to seek and find talent. And so that's why we amplified a wonderful partnership through Employee Indy and Ascend Network called Modern Apprenticeship. And then the second event that we hosted was a partnership looking at organizations that are doing internal things to think about upskilling and reskilling their talent. So we looked at some of the programs that IU Health is doing, One America with their career paths, and then looking at Be Nimble. Be Nimble is partnering with lots of organizations across Central Indiana to help them really find talent, especially looking at Black and Brown talent. The other thing we did is we had an event where we looked at Black young professional organizations that are really focused on helping their members grow personally and professionally. So we featured the Indianapolis Urban League Young Professionals, Indie Black Professionals, and Mentors of Color. And their demographic is young professionals, and we really wanted to show what their experience is looking for jobs in their careers, also how their organization should be part of your diversity and equity and inclusion strategy. This is an opportunity for you to attract talent as well as retain talent. And often people don't utilize this as a resource when they're thinking about looking for talent. Our task force, part of BEI, when initially we started in 2020, one of the things they saw a huge opportunity was in mentorship for Black professionals. And so when I came on board in 2022, we recognized that this was an opportunity, and Mentors of Color is an excellent organization that we've been able to partner with. And we hosted an event during quarter 3 that focused on Black professionals. So we did a mentorship brunch, and it was hosted at 16 Tech, and it was everything I imagined it to be. And Mentors of Color was an essential partner for us to execute this through their software as well as through their membership. And so we partnered with Indie Black Professionals, Mentors of Color, Ascend Network, a lot of great organizations, and also some of our partners are companies within the community. And what we did was we had an opportunity for them to network, but then have intentional mentorship time where they identified some of the skills that they wanted to work on or some of the challenges they were facing. And we partnered them with individuals that were also in the same industry or also were experts in that area. And it was an amazing experience. We heard back from a lot of our different participants, whether they were a mentor or a mentee, that they felt seen, that they felt like that they were around someone that looked like them, that could understand the challenges they were facing. And one of the biggest wins is that someone walked away with a job opportunity from attending that event. And not only was it a job opportunity, but it was from a small Black-owned business. And so, again, this is why it's so important for us to continue to have these activations to bring awareness to some of the great young Black talent that's out there and partner them with some of the leaders that are doing amazing things in the community already. So it was a great opportunity, and we were really grateful for the partnership with Mentors of Color. Well, this journey for me for diversity, equity, inclusion started for me as a child. I experienced attending a school where I was the only, and there was times where I felt excluded. And so my whole mission, my life since 4th grade, has been focusing on making sure everyone feels included and making sure that everyone has access to the same things, because that's what equity is making sure that everyone has access to the things that will allow them to be successful. And so doing this work is mission purpose. I tell people that it's not like I'm working when you're doing something that you love and you know it's making impact specifically on my community. It's empowering, and I love that I'm able to work with like-minded people that want to move the needle as well.
Time to talk about this week in business. A new study from Indiana University Public Policy Institute finds Indianapolis Motor Speedway drives more than $1 billion into the state's economy. We talked to the track president, Doug Bowles, about the study and what's coming up there in 2024.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
We hadn't done an economic impact study for over 10 years, and we felt like it was really important to do that because we get the question all the time, what does the Indianapolis Motor Speedway contribute to the community? And we were referring to a 2012 study, and we've changed our business model quite a bit from that period in time where we have so many other activities that aren't really public events, but do contribute to the community. So to do that was important to us, and when we saw that number was a little over $1 billion a year that the Speedway helps contribute to the Indiana economy, we were pretty surprised and actually actually pretty pleased to see that number come through. So you think about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you certainly think about the Indy 500. We'll have 108 runnings of that coming up in 2024. But there's so many other things that go on here at the Speedway. The question I get more than any is, what do you do the rest of the year? And really, the rest of the year is busier than the month of May. And so we really focus on that. How do we get people to the community? And when we put events on here, we look at it through two lenses. One, how does it impact the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as a business? But more importantly is when you look through that lens of what does it do for our community? So a lot of the events that we have here, whether they're on-track events or a golf course event or something at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, we're really trying to understand, does that drive people to hotels here in town? Does it drive people to Main Street and Speedway in terms of places to go eat? So a lot of that, what we look at is how do we get them here, and then how do we make sure that when they're here, they're spending money outside of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So in 2017, when the last eclipse was south of here just a little bit, and we realized we were going to have an eclipse in 2024 right across Indianapolis, on April 8th, 2018, we said we're going to host a watch party here at the Speedway. I had no idea what we were going to do. So over those last 4 or 5 years, we've been thinking that through. We're excited about it because we know so many people from all over the country are going to come to Indianapolis to see the path of totality that's going to go right over the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And while it's not in our sort of DNA, or it's not in our wheelhouse really to be an eclipse watching venue, we're pretty excited about the opportunity to do that. So that's really important to us, getting people here. When our tickets went on sale for that event, really quickly, within a week, we had over 34 states represented in those folks who've already purchased tickets to watch the eclipse here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we're trying to do everything we can, bring people to Indianapolis, bring them here, show them the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but more importantly, show them Hoosier hospitality and find a way to get people to love our city like we all do. So a lot of what we do at the Speedway are on-track activities that aren't really public-facing. So we'll bring OEMs or manufacturers of cars that'll bring in their street cars, and they'll bring people in from all over the country to train them how to sell those cars, or big customers why those cars are better than others. So that's one of the things we're going to do a lot more over the next several years is having those manufacturers come in. We continue to look at special events like the eclipse, so kind of one-off events that could make an impact every year. And then we're just continuing to get more robust in terms of all of our track rentals and the ways that people come out and can compete on track. In terms of real special events, like we had the Rolling Stones concert here in 2015. We continue to look for those kind of things that we can pick and choose that make a lot of sense, but those just have to be super special, almost once in a lifetime activities like the solar eclipse is going to be for us to really consider those here at the Speedway. The Indianapolis 500 is definitely a generational event, and a lot of folks that come to that are introduced to it by their granddad or their parents, or somebody's brought them to the Speedway. But it's really important for us to find another way to connect with youth, because the youth are going to be what carries the Indy 500 and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway forward. So one of the easy ones was our Snake Pit, which we do during the Indy 500, which is an EDM concert. 25,000 young adults under the age of 30 participate in that. They know a race is going on, but they don't care. They'd rather do the music. But we continue to look at other things. Even the solar eclipse is a perfect example. Working with Purdue University, trying to find ways to talk about STEM, really appeal to not just university students, but kids who are in high school and middle school, and get them excited about the eclipse, but also excited about STEM and ways that they can continue their education. And if they want to be in space, or they want to pay attention to what's going on in space, or they want to be in motorsports, those STEM connections are important. The new renovation at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum is going to have a whole STEAM section that's really about how do we attract and connect young kids to our sport, to our history of the state of Indiana, and find ways to just send them on a path around STEAM education. So that's super important for us. Without that next generation of race fan, we're not going to be around long. So we're really trying to focus on those STEAM and STEM events. What I'm most excited about, I think, is coming to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway every day, understanding that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is this international platform for Hoosiers and for Central Indiana. I love our state and our community so much. I get so excited when we can bring people through the gates who've never been here before, who can see the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it allows us the opportunity to talk about what's so great about our community. So proud of our state and the way that we're really focused on job creation and paying attention to youth and trying to make that work. So for me, it's really introducing that new fan to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then broader, introducing him to the state of Indiana and Central Indiana.
This Week in Business is made possible by BE&O Power.
Industry focus time on business equity and opportunities. Today on a clothing line that's more than just a fashion statement. It's a lifestyle brand that makes a statement. We don't run from adversity. Reflected in the company's name, WDRFA.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
So WDRFA, it's an acronym, which means that we can use it as we want. But the main meaning for the company is we don't run from adversity. And it kind of springs from, just trials and tribulations through life that we feel like people can relate to, just in their everyday lives, whether it be sports, things that go on, family, anything. We focus on quality things. So, quality apparel, drinkware, home goods, everything that we do, we want it to be something that's recognized and supported as well as respected.
So there are so many different things we've learned throughout the process. We were also a part of a store prior to WDRFA, Cream 24 from 2010 to 2013. So that was our springboard into just clothing and having a business. And then you fast forward to 2016, we wanted to do it again, but we wanted to do it with a little bit more meaning and something that is closer to home to us, that just kind of represented who we are, where we were trying to go, and the things that we've just been through in life. So WDRFA as an acronym is a cool way as a conversation piece. People always ask, well, what does it mean? And then when we say the meaning, we don't run from adversity. There's an instant connection because everybody can relate to some sort of adversity. Whether it's life, whether it's job, you can relate to adversity. So it's a representation, a walking representation of who we are and who we aspire to be, because we're always trying to get better at handling adversity. Having a business, sometimes you have to go through adversity. Not sometimes, most times you're going to go through adversity. So it's just a walking representative of who we are.
Everything is a collaborative approach. We meet, we talk daily, we source, do research, and then we work with different graphic designers and things of that nature, just so we can have a tree to our business. There's been times where we focused on everything from marketing to designs to rollout, but we learned that some things that you aren't great at, it's okay to outsource as long as you know how to communicate effectively to get the things that you want. Just like the hoodie that I'm wearing. We can't create this, mascot that we visualized, but we understood that and we outsourced it. So we work on everything together, but then the things that, we are better at, we focus on. The things that we need to outsource, we outsource. We've been around since 2016, and our main goal when we came around was to learn from mistakes of past businesses and say, okay, well, let's go online. We won't have as much overhead, but we'll still be able to create things. We can get things out, and we can just pay fees to be online opposed to depending on rent every month. So we've been online since 2016, 2017, and we would do pop-ups around the city. So we worked with different coffee shops like Commissary, Needhammer. We've done things at different art galleries just when we released different collections. But us coming into the Stutz, it was one of those things where we weren't even looking to have a physical place because we've been doing great, 5-6 years already. But with Startup 317, we had the opportunity to come into the space and kind of be the springboard to the program that they're launching here of, letting different retailers be in the building. And with us always shining light on new places and different things for people to do, we felt like it was the perfect marriage of us coming in.
Interestingly enough, success brings more headache because now you have to really know, right, what's coming or what's the next step. Because if you come in and you don't do well, then well, we're done, and that's okay. But if you do extremely well and we have an expiration date, now we have a lot of conversation. So it's a constant conversation between us on, what is the next space that we will look into long term? Are we going to go wholesale? Like, how do we kick back up our online? Because that's been sustaining us for the whole time that we've been around. So I think we probably have a three-headed monster that we're looking at, but as we get closer to our expiration date here, we'll reveal those things.
One of the main reasons of us being here and really accepting the opportunity is, we would do pop-ups a day or 2 days at a time where people could come by, they can see, touch, feel, smell, all of the different things that we offer. But with us having as broad of range of things that we do, and with us being able to reach new customers now that we're at the Stutz, it's a great opportunity for, when we aren't here, when our online is, back up, whether we go to another physical location or not, people know the quality of our pieces. People know the smell of our, scented candles. People know that we work with, great leather, and we do a lot of American-made things. So just the familiarity of people being able to come in and, know who we are, but also know the brand and understand that we're trying to provide something, or we are providing something of great quality around the spectrum, is one of those things that we just always want people to keep in the back of their mind when they shop with us.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunity Show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at BEOshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.